the one thing that I wish would have happened. Okay.
What's that?
So Magneto's pulling out the adamantium, right?
Yeah.
Could he also remove the voice actor? Like, is that in his power set, dude? Can he remove the voice actor, replace him? All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian. What's up,
Magneto.
dude? Mag motherfucking Nito.
That's how I do. I like that. That's
you know
cool.
why I busted this out, Adrian?
Why happened?
So if you watch Only Comics,
Yep.
I know you do.
Nah,
I do.
of course.
Right? I mean, we're on it, right?
Yeah, right.
We talked about X-Men 97 last week.
Yep.
And I posed the question, Adrian, would they go there?
Mm-hmm.
There being Magneto doing what he did.
Yep.
And they did.
And they did.
So I figured, what better way to show up to the show than with this Magneto helmet? Dude?
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
Even though it's kind of hard to concentrate, you have to look at one of your eyes because that thing's splitting you right in the middle.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to just watch that. You know
Yeah.
how you go from eye to nose, blah, blah. It's just crazy, dude. So you got to watch like your left eye or your right eye. So it's interesting.
Yes, a little distracting, maybe.
Yeah, of course.
I'm wondering, dude, if I wear it enough, will my beard turn gray? Because Magneto's got the gray going on.
Maybe I should put it on or not.
Next episode, you should put it on. No, but I see you got the Only Comics T-shirt on.
Oh, absolutely. You got to rock that. Got the Only Comics cup here.
Damn.
We got that going on, dude.
Was there a box of Joe this morning?
It was not. However,
Oh boy.
Since they took so long anyway,
Yeah.
it appears they changed their recipe.
Damn.
So it's starting to affect my Only Comics voice. We can't have that.
We cannot have that.
So I think I'm gonna have to lean away from the Dunkin' Donuts
shit.
coffee. Or at least let's try it without the cream first.
All
See
right.
if the
Maybe it's the cream. Yeah.
is giving that flimmy thing that's going on. But regardless of what it is,
Yeah.
can't lose that Only Comics
No,
voice.
we can't have it affect your mutant ability.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Little kryptonite. Dunkin'
Yeah.
Donuts cream is my kryptonite,
Well, we're gonna get into episode 9 a little bit later.
All right.
But I couldn't help but start with the Magneto helmet just because of how that moment for me was something I've been waiting to see on screen since the first time I saw the panel, in the grocery store as a kid.
Right.
So I thought for that alone, it was amazing. Again, we'll get into it later, but man, X-Men 97, dude.
Right. I just wanted them to get out of that purple M.
Oh, dude.
Technically, it was a purple suit with
Yes.
a giant white M on it.
Right.
But regardless, I was just waiting for him to get rid of that.
And I'm
thing.
so glad that thing's gone. So,
Yep.
Well, we're going to break into the little bit of news here like we always do, Adrian. I got some
right.
stuff for you to see this week, so bear with me.
Okay.
A lot of good stuff going on. A lot of X-Men talk in the news, dude.
Sure.
So there's 2 separate rumors about who's going to direct the X-Men movie, the first MCU X-Men movie, okay? So one of those rumors says that my man Ryan Coogler, who directed Black Panther 1 and 2, is going to take over and direct the X-Men for their first venture into the MCU. So that's one rumor. So if that one was true, how do you feel about that?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Black Panther was epic. It was groundbreaking. It'll be cool. I think it'll just be cool.
Yeah, I'd be down with it. I mean, I was reading somewhere where they said Ryan Coogler made Wakanda look like it was Star Wars. Like, that's how good. I mean, he did a great job. Whether you like the second movie or not, we both have our feelings about it. But from a directional standpoint, I mean, I think he did a hell of a job.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely put a lens on the richness of what Wakanda was, and what this entire kingdom was capable of.
Right.
And I love how they did a reflection at the end about T'Challa came up and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna offer you these resources." Like, you just like some little country. What can you do?
Right.
And they just kind of left it at that, with a smile or whatever. So he did an amazing job.
Yeah.
On that, envisioning Wakanda and actually what it meant.
Right. Because my issues with the second movie are more the story and the portrayal of, his sister and how she became Black Panther in 14 seconds.
Right.
But I think the way it was shot, the way he told the story from the director's standpoint, what he brought to that movie, I thought was great.
Right. I mean, if they actually had to bring somebody to replace T'Challa, it should have been the girlfriend. and not the sister.
True.
The sister was a nerd, right?
Yeah.
And it just did. It would have made more sense because she was kind of a warrior. The girlfriend was kind of a warrior anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she just took a little hiatus.
Right.
But the sister to come out of the lab, you know, to become, you know, the Black Panther, kind of nonsense to me.
Yeah. And my big thing was the whole movie she didn't want to.
Right.
And then, like, because of how long the movie was, they did so much to honor Chadwick Boseman, which I get, but it took up so much time for the movie. When it was time for her to go from not wanting to be Black Panther to wanting to be, it was like 14 seconds. Like, it's just real, okay, I'll be Black Panther now, why not?
Right. And then you have the skill, the experience, and the power to defeat 100-plus-year-old mutant.
Yes.
I don't know.
You're going, your first day you threw the suit on, you're going toe-to-toe with Namor.
Right.
I'm sorry, dude. And I know Namor's portrayal is not your favorite, but Namor's a badass.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Besides, I mean, he was like grooming Susan from Reed Richards. I don't know, man. I'm having a different opinion about Susan, man. She's, you know, a couple of people has caught our eye, man.
She's a little too frisky.
Right. So you got Namor, you know, like trying to make her his queen. So obviously she led him on some kind of way, right? Then you got Victor Von Doom, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he basically trying to make his entire life around Reed.
Oh, he did in Secret Wars, dude.
But then, exactly. But then including Susan in it. So, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
She winking at somebody.
Oh, she's like the Kim Kardashian of Marvel.
Man. I wouldn't have gone that far.
Hey,
okay.
You know, I mean, it's like in the spirit of the roast, Adrian. You saw the Tom Brady roast, right?
Oh, dude, that was epic.
Yep.
I still got Kevin Hart, you know, in my head about all of his stuff.
Fuck you, Tom. That was great.
Yeah.
So that's one rumor about X-Men. There's another one, Adrian. This one came out a couple of days later. These individuals I don't know by name, but I'm going to give you some projects they've worked on. The first guy is Rafe, I guess, R-A-F-E, Rafe Judkins. And his talents, his career here, he was a supervising producer on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the show.
Okay.
Which is okay. Amazon's Wheel of Time, he was a showrunner, never seen that. He has co-writing credits for Sony's Uncharted, which that was a movie with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think that was a good story, so I'm not excited about hearing that. So this guy, based off of these credentials, I'm not excited about him directing this movie. Okay, how do you feel about?
Well, I'm not excited about it, but I did see Uncharted. It was decent.
Okay.
I did see. I started watching Wheels of Time.
Okay.
It was okay. My daughter, she was like, "You got to watch this," but I started it and I couldn't get past like episode 1. And then what was the first one?
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I actually liked.
Show.
Yeah, I actually liked that show. I watched that like all the seasons.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Got it.
So to answer your question,
yep.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, he's done some okay work.
Yeah.
He's not done shitty work.
Right.
But he hasn't done exciting work.
Yeah.
So he could get it done, I'll say.
Mm-hmm. But this is a big deal. This is X-Men's first MCU movie. Right. If done right, they could be bigger and better and more popular than the Avengers.
Oh, absolutely.
If done right. You know?
Oh, I would definitely say more popular.
Yeah.
But simply because of the power sets. And you're right. This is a big deal. So we don't need anybody mid.
Right.
We need somebody like the Russo brothers, right?
Yes.
There you go. To helm this.
Look at that. Perfect suggestion from AJ.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Kevin, I know you got some people watching. You guys don't want to send a box to Joe. That's fine. But give the Russo brothers a call.
And if you do, put the cream on the side.
Yeah, on the side, absolutely. The second person rumor. So the rumor is they've got it dialed down to these two individuals. The second one is Michael Leslie. Okay, his recent work includes co-writing The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Now You See Me 3, and what else is he's a showrunner for an up-and-coming Harry Potter TV series. Based off of the Hunger Games, I don't want this guy anywhere near. Because, not that I don't Not that those are bad movies. They're good movies for what they are, but they're kind of cringe.
Right.
You know, so I don't want. We had enough cringe in the X-Men with Cyclops.
Right.
So we don't need a nut. So hearing this, I'm like, nope, stay away. To your point, Russo brothers, or I like the first rumor a little better, Ryan Coogler.
Right.
What do you think about this, my man Michael Leslie here?
First of all, you got the Harry Potter stuff. So no, that's a no.
Yep.
And then it just sounds like they're just throwing names up on the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is exciting. You definitely X-Men coming out is like a bullfight. You know, you want to go in there, you want to see some carnage, you want to see some major excitement,
Right.
and these guys just don't sound like they can, bring that to the table. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no, I'm not excited about that at all.
No. Next up, I don't know if you've seen this, Adrian. We know James Gunn's working on a new Superman movie, Superman Legacy, with Henry Cavill's son playing Superman, or a guy who looks
His clone.
just like him,
Right.
like his literal fucking clone,
Yep.
David Cornsweet. That's his real name.
This is really Corn Sweat.
Cornsweet.
Corn Sweat, Ball Sweat. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Well,
What?
in this, that's a good segue because they released a photo of him in the suit. I'm sure in these rubber suits, you're going to get some ball sweat or some corn
probably.
sweat, one or the other.
Right.
I mean, my corn started to sweat just wearing that helmet a little while ago.
What we're not going to get out of this movie, I can probably guarantee, is some eye sweat.
No, definitely. This ain't agree to disagree, but I'm going to agree with that one. But Adrian, take a look at this suit right here. This is the leaked photo of, Superman just putting on his boot real quick while the whole world's, going to shit behind him. He's just got to tighten it. Remember those Reebok pumps from the 90s?
Yeah.
They, like Shaq had them.
Yeah.
They're like, neon blue and black, almost like Only Comics colors,
Okay.
You pumped it up. I wonder if he's pumping up his boots maybe.
I don't know. Maybe he needs to pump up his arms because that suit looks a little big on him.
It is a little baggy, right?
It's like what's with all the lines and stuff. Plus, this dude looks old. It doesn't look like Henry Cavill. Maybe it's just a shot. I'm assuming it's just a shot.
Maybe.
He doesn't look like Cavill at all. But I know who you're talking about. Ball Sweat.
Yes.
He looks like literally like his clone, or at least his son.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this suit, though?
Not a fan of the big crazy retro 1930s S. And all the little lines and stuff. It's just like overdone.
Yeah.
It's too much, dude. If Cavill wore the suit, even though, in some of the shows it's like super shiny, they need to matte the suit and let the musculature show through. Like The Rock with Black Adam.
Yeah.
That was a suit.
Right.
You didn't need any extra stuff. The
Right.
man was the suit.
Exactly.
Don't make the suit be the man,
Yeah. Yeah, this suit kind of looks like if Henry Cavill's suit had sex with Homelander's suit
Come on, man.
and then had a baby. I mean, I'm getting Homelander vibes, dude, with the little shoulder pads and all the extra lines and the boots. I don't know. Maybe because we told them that the Seven would destroy the Justice League, they're trying to incorporate a little Homelander style in there. I don't know.
I don't know, man. If Homelander got with Superman, I think Superman would need a wheelchair after.
No, I'm talking about the suits, Adrian.
Oh, okay.
If the suits had a baby, this is what it would look like.
Oh, okay. If the suits had,
Yes,
got you.
yes.
Okay, I took it too far.
Which may happen here. I mean, this is Only Comics. We do discuss
Hey.
comics and Only Comics.
Right.
And,
Maybe something else every once.
sometimes. Last bit of news for the week, another little sneak peek. So Matt Reeves is working on Batman, the Caped Crusader series.
Okay.
We revealed the first images, a couple months back here, and they were, as you said earlier, mid. There was a couple that were decent, and there were some that were atrocious, like the Harley Quinn, and so we got a little another look here at some of these photos. So we got Catwoman here in action, kind of popping through the window. How do you feel about this model here, this character model?
I like that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's actually traditional.
Kind of looks like the Catwoman from the Adam West Batman series a little bit.
What was her name? Merriweather.
Yes, I think
something
so.
Merriweather.
Yep, but the costume at least.
Yeah.
And then we got Batman here.
waist is a little wide on that one, but I mean,
Yeah.
maybe need to lose a couple pounds or shift him up to his arms.
Right. But I'm digging the style. It looks a little Batman animated series esque, and then they, the bigger ears, and they tweaked it a little bit. It's Catwoman again. Here's that Harley Quinn, dude. That
Man, it looks like Amanda Waller with makeup on. Like, come on, man. They could have did better than that.
And then we got Clayface here.
I don't see much Clayface.
No, I don't know what's going on there. Here's a look at Bruce Wayne.
Sure.
Looks like Bruce Wayne.
Iconic.
Yeah. Yep. So they did a good job there. And this is the reason that this is in the news is it's debuting pretty damn soon, Adrian.
Okay.
They're going to debut 10 episodes on Amazon Prime August 1st.
Okay.
So a couple months. I guess with one episode left of X-Men 97, we're going to have a little void for a month or two, but maybe this series here will fill that void.
You think they're gonna spin out episode 2 of Crisis Infinite Earths?
I heard it's on Prime. Actually, one of our followers mentioned that it's on Prime.
Well, episode 1 is.
No, episode 1's on Max.
Oh.
So that's the DC thing, I guess. You got to go find it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So episode 1 is on Prime.
Max.
On Max, and 2 is on Prime.
According to one of our followers, so we have not validated that information yet.
Well, I'll check it out, but I don't know, dude. I'm kind of getting tired of Amazon, dude. It's like you pay for Prime to have access to the movies, but it's like you pay for Prime so then you can go and pay for every movie that you want to watch now. It's like everything's for rent.
Yep. And I don't understand why I have ads on Prime. I never used to have ads.
Exactly.
Now I have ads.
Exactly.
And I'm like, is there a no ad version somewhere? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe Prime plus. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess. Shit. Who knows? But so this show, what it's being billed as is a reimagining of Batman's mythology. J.J. Abrams and Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm, I think, worked on the original animated series, and J.J. Abrams worked on just about everything.
Right.
From what we know so far, we don't know a lot, but they did say that it's going to be right in line with Matt Reeves' vision for Batman. That kind of more grounded, that, violent, grim, I guess, if you will. So it's going to match that tone. So hearing that, kind of, despite some of the fucked up imagery we've seen so far, like the Harley Quinn on crack, outside of that, that's probably more meth, though. That looks more meth.
Yeah, well... crack or meth doesn't involve, that amount of weight gain. So I don't know what she's taking on. Like literally, that's like Amanda Waller, with some makeup on. But as far as in line with the Matt Reeves thing, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But the thing, and at this point, dude, I'm so sick of, and we talked about this even when Only Comics was first coming online. They're still doing the same thing. Right. Forget the reimagining of, or if you do, right. At least I'm okay with like the Batman, right?
Yeah.
With the younger version, because we don't see a lot about the early works of Batman, year 1, year 2, year 5, things like that.
Right.
Or even the older version of Batman when he goes into more mentor mode, right? Because he can't.
Right.
But the restart of Batman over and over and over again, I'm tired of. If that is part of the reimagining, I'm tired of seeing it. Just skip that part because we all know about it.
Right.
We don't need your reimagined version of the murder in the alley,
right,
or the falling into the bat cave and all this other kind of stuff. Go with some other stories.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that Batman and Spider-Man's origins, I don't think we need to do those again for like 30 years or more.
Or Superman or
like
anybody.
Everyone knows by now.
Right.
Anyone who knows who Batman we don't need to do it.
Right.
They can go look it up somewhere. It's not going to change much. But I think, based off what we've seen so far, I don't think this is a, first year Batman.
Okay.
Because Bruce Wayne's already established. So I'm with you. I hope there's no origin or if it's like maybe done in a flashback in one episode or something like it. But they did. It seems like they've changed a little bit. So Selena Kyle is someone who lost her family's fortune. Her dad's in prison, so we don't know who her dad is, and she's someone that is kind of like had everything yanked away. So she's resorting to crime to kind of still live that lifestyle. Harley Quinn, they said she's a brilliant psychiatrist. She treats some of Gotham's elite, And then she's also Calculating Menace, who's truly despicable among her elite clientele. So I don't know if she's treating them and then doing other shit to them. Who knows? So she's going to play some type of psychopath. Gordon's in this, Clayface. And we did see when we looked at, or when the images were originally released, the Two-Face image, which I wasn't a big fan of. That was the one he had like 3 scratches on his face, you know. But, I mean, all in all, from what I hear, I'm a little more positive on this. I hope it impresses me like X-Men 97 did. I hope it surpasses my expectations. So how you feeling about this as a whole?
I'm just glad they're doing something.
Yeah, true.
You know, they've been on hiatus. Been out on the bike with Waitiki.
Yep.
Going off into the sunset. So as much as we shit on, you know, DC, they are missed.
Yes.
But it's because they're just not putting out enough stuff. I mean, Marvel is probably overdoing it.
Yeah. Oh, they
but
were.
DC is like underdoing it, right?
Yep. Well, we're not going to overdo it here, Adrian. We're going to do a little thumbs up, thumbs down, and then we're going to move on to our next segment. So, starting with the rumor that Ryan Coogler is going to direct the first X-Men MCU movie. If that's true, I'm giving that a thumbs up.
I agree. Thumbs up.
And then we get right into some fuckery here, okay? So, rumor number 2 about the X-Men MCU movie is Rafe Judkins and Michael Leslie are the 2 that they've narrowed it down to pick from to direct the movie. So if that's true, I'm going thumbs down.
Rafe should stay in Stargate and not direct the movies. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. The James Gunn Superman suit has leaked. David Corden sweats photo. He's putting on his boots, pumping them up, looks like. Big old explosion in the back, and he's just, you know, mid-meditation here. Now, as far, I think he looks the Superman part.
Okay.
But if I'm just judging the suit, Adrian, I'm giving that a thumbs down.
Yeah, I've never liked that old retro, what is it, 1930s S or 50s or whatever it is. That big S, I don't like it. So thumbs down on the suit.
And then last but not least, Batman, the Caped Crusader animated series dropping in August 1st. I think they said all 10 episodes are dropping at once. So I'm going to give this overall thumbs up. There's little things I don't like about like some of the character models, but I'm also, to your point, DC, they're actually releasing something. Everyone's like, you're, you know, anti-D, you're only a Marvel podcast. Like, do we review what comes out? Someone said, like, well, you know, DC makes comics too. Yeah, I know. But if you've seen any of our show, a lot of it is movies and stuff like that. So we do review certain comics, but they put out comics every freaking week. Can't keep up.
Right.
But so for this show, I'm going thumbs up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's they're overdue. And I also agree about, you know, what they're putting out. There's always going to be something you do or don't like about whatever comes out. And I think the fact that they're coming out with something is more important than, you know, some of the character renditions. Right. You know, moving forward.
Yep. Well, Adrian, I started playing a new game here a couple of weeks back called Higher and Lower. Okay. So this is where I pull up some Rotten Tomatoes scores. So we're not sponsored by them, but we should be too. What would they send us? Like tomatoes? You like tomatoes?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Yeah, I like tomatoes. So you know what I don't like is bananas.
What I don't like is Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
No,
okay,
I mean, not the
true.
platform.
Yeah,
but you know, the actual.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
But I don't like bananas. Do you like bananas?
I love bananas, dude.
Does it bother you that I don't like bananas?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, could care less.
You know, it also doesn't bother me that you like bananas.
Cool.
So sometimes we'll say things like, I don't like this movie. Some people get really bothered.
I don't know why. I mean, they should know us by now.
Right.
So how you feel about your feelings, that's your feelings.
Exactly.
So
yeah, as someone once said, fuck your feelings. So we're going to do Higher, Lower, and I'm going to pull out a movie that's not a comic book movie, Adrian. So you had mentioned Weekend at Bernie's last week.
Okay.
That's a great movie, by the way.
Absolutely.
Classic. There's a few, right? There's a few of those movies, but I think the first one's probably the best. Someone brought up a movie in the comments a couple of weeks back, Blank Man. You ever seen Blank Man with Damon Wayans?
No, I've seen like trailers, I've seen like pictures of it, things like that, but Yeah, no. I have not
Oh
seen
man, dude, this is a class. Now it's like a joke of a movie, but
Sure,
it
parody.
is yes, it is hysterical. So, anyways, we're gonna do a little higher, lower. I'm not gonna give you the scores until the end. We're gonna start. So, Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
All right. Did this movie rank higher or lower than The Matrix on Rotten Tomatoes?
I would say probably higher.
Okay, you're wrong. Matrix
Really?
is higher. Yep.
Okay.
Did Weekend at Bernie's rank higher or lower than The Flash?
The Weekend at Bernie's higher or lower than The Flash? I mean, yeah. I would say higher.
Lower.
Wow.
Did Weekend at Bernie's rank higher or lower than Halle Berry's Catwoman?
Okay, higher.
Yes, higher. You're right.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, we need to get some bells up
Right?
in here, dude. Did Weekend at Bernie's rank higher or lower than Madam Web?
Higher.
Yes. Higher or lower than Zack Snyder's Watchmen?
Watchmen? Really?
Yeah.
I would say lower.
Yes, correct. Higher or lower than the first X-Men movie?
Lower.
Yes. Higher or lower than X-Men Apocalypse?
I would say lower.
Nope, higher.
Really?
Yep. Now, we just talked about this. I know you haven't seen it, but you've seen the previews. Higher or lower than Blank Man?
Dude, I'm scared to answer that question. I would say higher.
Higher.
Okay.
Correct. Last one. Did Weekend at Bernie's rank higher or lower than The Eternals?
Lower.
Nope.
Higher? Really?
Yes. You get
Okay,
ding, ding,
cool,
ding for that
cool.
one, too. So here's the scores. Weekend at Bernie's.
Yep.
Actually, I'll give you everyone else's, then we'll do Weekend at Bernie's. So The Matrix, 83% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Watchmen. What's that?
Which should.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little high, but.
I feel some hatred.
Yeah.
But I'm not hating.
No, you're not mad,
I'm
right?
not,
It doesn't
I'm not
bother
mad
you.
because you hate
No.
The Matrix. That's okay.
Nope. Watchmen, 65%.
Really?
Yeah.
It got that high?
Yeah, I know. That's pretty high for
Yeah,
Watchmen.
yeah.
X-Men, the original X-Men, 82%.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Sure.
X-Men Apocalypse, 47%.
That's
Probably
appropriate.
a little high, maybe. I don't know. Catwoman, dude, 8%.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
The Halle Berry one.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. Blank Man got 12%. So
Oh, that's sad. That's real sad.
That is pretty sad. But here, Blank Man beat Madam Web. Madam Web was 11%.
Wow.
Eternals, 47%. Weekend at Bernie's, 54%. So we had said last week on Agree to Disagree that Weekend at Bernie's was better than the Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
You agreed with me.
Okay.
And Rotten Tomatoes agrees with me as well.
Okay.
So there you have it. We settled the score. Any of these surprise you? Any of these scores?
Yeah. Yes, it does
Yeah.
surprise me. Because I'm surprised that the general public. I have an opinion about what people think is important,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just surprised at some of the scores. Not all of them, but like maybe one or two. The Madam Web one. What was the other one? Anyway, a couple of them.
Are you surprised that The Flash is a 63%? You surprised that it's that high?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. That should be. I won't say as bad as Catwoman, but
Close, though.
I would say 20s.
Yeah, like a 20, maybe a 22%.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, dude, I was talking with some friends about that last night, The Flash, and just talking through it, I'm like, wow, that was such a bad movie. Like,
Well, it wasn't just The Flash was bad. It was the fact that Ezra Miller played The Flash.
yeah,
because
that definitely didn't
he
help.
also brought down the Justice League movies. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when Superman came back and all that kind of stuff, just having him in the suit was just a bad idea from the start. And so, and the Flash was like a culmination of all of that stuff,
Right.
portraying him as a bad Flash. It was just,
Yeah, and just a lot of the stupidness. I mean, I can't get over the babies in the microwave scene,
Right.
you know, or the whole time travel, the Nicolas Cage fighting
Right.
a giant, what was it, a spider, octopus? I don't even know. Like
some tentacle.
Christopher Reeves, who's been dead now for so long, and he's just, flying around.
Right,
like all that is just.
Well, those are directorial. That's director
Mistakes?
stuff. No,
Yeah.
that's director stuff. That's
Yeah, yeah.
script stuff.
Yep.
That has nothing to do with necessarily with the Ezra Miller
Correct.
person. I'm talking specifically about him being casted as the Flash.
Oh, yeah.
A horrible idea.
Yep.
Not just in the Flash, but anything that he portrayed Flash in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into all the director stuff.
Yeah.
Or script stuff.
Yeah. It's like if they were trying to screw it up,
right,
then they did a hell of a job. Like,
absolutely.
Kudos. You guys nailed it.
Was Weekend at Bernie's better than Ant-Man?
Ooh.
The last one.
You know
check
what?
that one out.
I'm gonna do that in real time, Adrian.
And was the Ant-Man better or worse than the Flash? So you got 3 to check. Weekend at Bernie's, Ant-Man across whatever.
Yep.
And the Flash.
So Ant-Man, Quantumania,
All right.
46%. So Weekend at Bernie's is better than Ant-Man.
Wow.
And the Flash, according to Rotten Tomatoes, is better than Ant-Man, the Wasp, Quantumania.
So what do you think the budget was for Weekend at Bernie's? $15? Right? And you got the Quantumanium at, what, $400 million or something?
3 and change, yeah.
And that was better than Quantumania.
Yep. Dude, I think Weekend at Bernie, I'd be surprised if it was $10 million.
Right.
I'd be surprised. Let's see. Weekend at Bernie. Oh, $15 million budget.
Wow.
Yep.
See?
And
it's all about the content, man.
It is.
It's all about the storyline, and it's all about, the acting and so on and so. So this dude, as a dead person with shades on, you can't even see his eyes to see his acting capability.
Yep.
They're dragging a dead body around, and that was more popular at $15 million than all this AI, CGI, blah, 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 $350 million budget movie.
So what you're saying is Bernie was a better on-screen character than Ezra Miller's Flash.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And that's crazy.
That is. All right. Well, I don't know how this is a good segue, but it's a good segue into our hidden gem of the week, Adrian, right?
Sure.
So hidden gem is, now we don't have a lot of rules on Only Comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we started doing an Omega level mutant series, and then we shifted back to hidden gem, and then we did like a couple other Omega, and now we're just doing a hidden gem today, X-Men theme, because we feel like it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So this is an X-Men themed character.
Yes.
A guy who you didn't really know a lot about prior to this, right?
Well, I didn't know about this version.
Okay.
So there's 2. So the hidden gem this week is Morph.
Yep.
Right? And there are or were 2 Morphs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's Morph 616.
Okay.
Which was the Changeling first, and then he got renamed into the Morph, right?
Yeah.
So he had the ability to psionically change his body, right, to any person or even animals, right? He had limited telepathic and telekinetic ability, which got enhanced by Xavier, right? So then he got killed off or so on and so forth, which, well, I'm jumping ahead. So now we get into the X-Men 97 Morph, which is actually from 1081, Earth 1081.
Okay.
Right? Now, this Morph is what's being portrayed most recently.
Okay.
So this guy, he was born, the way they described him, as a white lump of goo flowing like mercury.
Okay.
Right? So I don't know why. I'm assuming the white lump part is what, separated him from the regular water break. Because if you got some mercury flowing out of your body, I would assume you just discard it.
Yeah.
But, apparently not.
It can't be good.
So anyway, he had his powers and was aware of and able to use his powers basically since birth. More like the Omega level mutants, right? He was able to do it from birth. He didn't need some catalyst when he was 15, some fire, some boyfriend, some girlfriend.
He just already knew.
He just already knew.
Gotcha.
But the thing about it is that, they list him as being like an actor, right? Which of course he has to be. If he's taking on the personas or likenesses of other people, acting has to be a part of his life, right?
Yep.
But also one of his things was because he looked like this, his mother, he always wanted to please people. He was like a people pleaser. So he was like funny, joking around kind of a deal. So his parents would prefer him to look more human. So to please them, right?
Yeah.
He would look more human throughout his life than this mercury goo stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, he has the power to basically shape shift. And that means that he could change into the likeness of any person or animal and some things. So not only was he is he capable of shape shifting, but he can also take on the powers and some abilities of the people that he changed into. So like on X-Men 97,
Yeah.
I'm messing around on my tablet, right? And all of a sudden the Hulk comes up. And I'm thinking this is like a cameo like they did with Captain America and Spider-Man and Doom.
Yep.
But no, it's Morph. He basically turned into the Hulk. Now, and then he's like knocking the Sentinels' heads off and stuff. So what does that mean? When he transforms, he can take on some of the abilities of the people that he transforms into. So that means that he's pulling, like the Hulk, mass, because he can become bigger, smaller. He's pulling mass extra dimensionally to increase his power, right, and his size. And then he's also, now I'm not saying that he has unlimited ability like the Hulk, which would make him almost Omega level. But even though his power sets is almost kind of like on the cusps of being Omega level, because he can assume the likeness of anybody and pretty much some of their power sets. For example, he can obviously, transform into the Hulk and have some power.
Right.
I think the 20-ton range, which is more than enough to knock a Sentinel's head off. He can mimic Xavier, but not his telekinetic powers. He can mimic Wolverine, even down to the claws, but his claws aren't in true adamantium. He can mimic Captain America's shield, but not the properties of the adamantium vibranium, mixture. So he can do some things, but not to the full extent, right? So he can change into animals, so on and so forth. So he has superhuman strength. So around 20 tons, naturally, he can, pull extra mass or power.
Yeah.
So that is, he can do 20 tons. Durability, obviously, speed. He's mimicked Quicksilver, right? So he can do his speed stuff. Flight, he can fly. I think normally like 40 miles an hour, but he can also duplicate the Angel, his wings, and fly at whatever speeds he was able to. So, so we got the superhuman speed from Quicksilver, and elasticity. So, like, if he duplicates the Blob, not only does he have his mass and his capabilities, but pretty much Morph is invulnerable to any man-made projectile. Projectile, like
all of them,
like the Blob, right?
Yeah.
So he can mimic, which actually makes him pretty impressive. Now, the other thing is that they made him non-binary. This Morph, or Morph 1081, Earth 1081.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because he can be anybody. Right. So, but I'm assuming that, like Mystique, right? When he changes into a female, like, not only does the body change, the organs change, and then the DNA changes as well, because Mystique was able to transform from a male to a female and have a child.
Right.
Or no, she changed from a female, which is her typical form, to a male, which changed her organs, which also gave her the ability to birth or impregnate a woman. Right. So I'm assuming Morph has that same capability.
Which wasn't that Nightcrawler?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Nightcrawler was Mystique's child.
Yes.
As a result of the transformation.
Of her turning to a guy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and that's something that, the whole non-binary thing makes perfect sense with Morph. Like, that's probably the best depiction I've ever seen on screen of that concept. You know?
Absolutely.
Dude, there, like you mentioned, like Quicksilver. There was so many times through X-Men '97 where a character would pop up, and I'm like, where the hell did this guy come from? Right. Then I'm like, oh shit, that's Morph. Because sometimes he'd change off screen. So like, I think Quicksilver just came out of nowhere. I'm like, well, where the hell did Quicksilver? When did he join the fight? Right.
But I'm interested in this character, kind of like Gambit. I'm actually looking more and more into this character because, I mean, he really does have the potential to be either sub Omega level or Omega level, depending on, because he's new. I think it was made for. Actually, he was made for X-Men '97, and the
The
writers
original animated series.
right.
Yeah.
So, but when the writers brought him in, they brought him in to replace Warpath, I think, which is a Indian X-Men superhero.
Yep.
And they knew they were going to kill him off, so they didn't want to kill off the only Indian American
Right.
superhero character. So they substituted Morph for Warpath, so they can then kill him off, which is weird. But
Yeah.
but a little backstory on him. Mother died of cancer when he was 15. They had to give him, because he was just born, right? They had to give him some kind of background. Mother died when he was 15. He was probably apparently like kidnapped by Sinister, became his bitch or whatever, and just kind of basically did some
Always Sinister, dude.
right. So basically did some uncle down the hall kind of stuff to him.
Yeah.
So he's all messed up. So his weakness is his psychology, basically.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of all over the place, which again makes perfect sense for this character.
Exactly. Yeah, dude, I've always been a Morph fan, and I forgot that he was originally Changeling in the Changeling, however the hell you say it.
Right.
But my first introduction to him was the original animated series, where in the first episode, he's you see that he has a really close bond with Wolverine.
Right.
And then in the second episode, he's killed by the Sentinels. And originally, that death was meant to be permanent. But because of how popular the character was, they ended up bringing him back. And, you're talking about the Sinister part in the animated series, the second season, Morph comes back as a villain. He's got, like, black circles around his eyes,
Right.
and he's kind of possessed by Sinister. X-Men thought he was dead for the whole first season. And then he ended up coming back, rejoining the X-Men, and now we get the version we have in 97. But it kind of reminds me of, like, Harley Quinn, a character that was created for an animated series and then became so popular that it's now been now not to the same level, but I'd love to see Morph in live action.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because he could do so much. I mean, and he fills that gap for all the other stuff. Because they're still nerfing Jean,
Right.
With her powers and stuff. You got the whole Madeline thing going on.
Yep.
So they what's his face, Sunspot. They haven't brought him up to speed yet. So he's a very good filler for a whole bunch of stuff. And I would love to see, if he could. Can he duplicate multiple powers? Kind of like what's his face, Legion.
Oh yeah.
Can he metamorphosize into a hybrid of multiple powers? Things like, and can he naturally use those powers to the full extent? So I'm definitely going to do a little bit more deep diving into this character.
Right.
But he's very interesting.
Yeah, because there has to be some type of limit.
I'm sorry, they.
Yes,
are very
they. Oh,
interesting.
true. Yeah, there you go. Look at that, dude. You're up with the times.
I'm trying.
You're woke, Adrian.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, it means you just I don't know. It changes all the time. Who knows?
Whatever.
But yeah, dude, Morph, cool character. Again, like I said, love to see him on screen. And throughout, I think that's been one of my, like I mentioned, X-Men 97. I love the show.
Sure.
But one of the highlights have been just seeing him pop up as these different characters, because it's not a true cameo, but dude, it was cool seeing a version of Hulk jump around and knock the head off some Sentinels, or Quicksilver. Right. I mean, there's so many, and I'm trying to remember. There was so many. I feel like every episode he popped up as somebody else.
But it's also cool to see somebody that changed that transformation. Unlike, because I think they wanted to make a version of something from a DC character, but they had already chosen that name or something like that. But it's also good to see somebody that can do a true transformation. Unlike, what's the kid on Teen Titans, the green one?
Oh, Beast Boy?
Beast Boy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, actually, now that you actually say the name, it actually makes sense. He cannot transform into people. He can transform into animals.
Right.
And he's always green. So it's nice to see a cleaner version of that.
Yes.
And having him land in the X-Men is perfect because you got all kind of abilities and capabilities within the X-Men, which goes back to your point. X-Men has the capability to be so much bigger than the Avengers.
Absolutely, dude. I found just a few, and I'm sure there's more we're missing, but these are just some of the characters that Morph has morphed into. See how I did that? Morphed into, right? Archangel, there was an episode where he picks up Wolverine, The Blob. He shows up as the Blob in one. Lady Deathstrike in another. Colossus in one. And Psylocke in one as well.
He's also imitated Professor X.
Professor X,
right?
Yep. Quicksilver, which you mentioned.
Which we mentioned. So, yeah, I mean.
And then Hulk. Did you wear the hat because of the show? Is that?
I did not.
Yeah, okay.
However, I just thought it was cool,
Yeah, black on black. And
Exactly.
you know, Adrian, where everybody watching could have the same shirt as us if they went to onlycomicsmerch.com.
Right. And hats.
And hats.
And coffee mugs.
Yes.
And other things.
They do not come with coffee, though.
They do not come with
obviously, because
right?
we know how that goes. But yeah, I think he's been fun, as a character, and it's been a little kind of nice treat to see some of these cameos. And,
right.
But what I'm intrigued about with this character now, even learning more about him, is what is that level like? Because he cannot, and it's been obvious, he can't duplicate the powers to the full extent, or he would just turn into Magneto and kick Magneto's side. You know what I mean? Like
True.
So there is some limit, but what is that?
Right. And like the Phoenix,
yeah.
I mean, he can change his body to look like Jean Grey,
right?
But can he harness any of the powers of the Phoenix? Things like that. But what's also cool about him is that he has that comic relief. Like when Rogue and Magneto was getting together, and he was messing with what's his face about Rogue with the danger room.
Gambit, they're like they're in here every time.
So he's like, it looks like they got the whole room tied up for the next week or something. So they needed something like that, and he's a perfect pairing with Wolverine, who's always an ass, right?
Right.
So you got this this kid, this character who's like the opposite of the Wolverine, and they're best buddies. So that's cool too.
Yeah, it is a nice little dynamic.
Yeah.
Dude, Rogue and Magneto had more Danger Room sessions than Giselle had with her karate instructor.
Right.
It was up there, dude. It was a lot.
Right. But I think Rogue is the black belt, though. Unlike Giselle.
Yeah, exactly. We also saw him show up as Sinister in this most recent episode of X-Men. So one thing about, I guess, when he turns into these individuals, he doesn't, like, when Rogue absorbs your powers, she gets, like, memories and all kinds of things. Morph doesn't.
Right.
Because he was portraying Sinister, but even Bastion was like, dude, Sinister don't care about anyone but himself.
Exactly.
Like I knew it was you from the beginning, know?
Right. So, which is where the acting comes in, I guess.
Yes.
Right? So he has to have observed you in order to properly portray you.
Right.
Now, if you just want to duplicate somebody walking on the street, and the only thing he wants to give you is an impression that person is there, then sure, he doesn't have to say anything, act out, or have seen you in the past in order to truly portray you. But yeah, and Bastion called him out immediately.
Yes, absolutely. Well, dude, another great hidden gem as always, Adrian. Morph. Shit, we're talking a lot of X-Men stuff. Right. I'd love to see him as one of the characters featured in the MCU X-Men movie.
Yep. I hope they can also come out with, and the reason I'm saying this is, well, let me say this first. I hope they come out with some version of Alpha Flight. And the reason I even bring up Alpha Flight is because one of Morph's kind of weaknesses is that he produces a lot of pheromones.
Okay.
So even though he changes to anybody, people like Wolverine, Sasquatch from Alpha Flight, they smell him.
Oh yeah, they can tell.
Right.
Yep.
So that's his kind of weakness.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of that, Wolverine's sense of smell. That is something that we've not seen in live action done properly.
Right.
Like I don't ever remember Wolverine or Hugh Jackman going around sniffing people. Not once.
Right.
Right. But in the animated series or in the comics, you see it all the time.
Right. The whole sniffing thing.
Yep.
We got some guys behind the door.
Right.
Don't go through it because they got guns. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So a lot to be seen with Wolverine moving forward.
Right. I don't know. I think what they did in the animated series is kind of what they should do in live action.
Okay.
Because he's had his run with the X-Men. He's had his own run of movies.
Yep.
Right. So they should kind of not have him so prominent and then bring up other people.
Okay.
And I would love to see more of Morph. I would love to see more of Gambit. They killed him off.
Right.
Even Storm. Bring Storm up to her proper thing, and then put somebody in there that can actually play Jean Grey.
Just not the Halle Berry version.
No Halle Berry, and Do a AI, what they call it when they de-age you,
Oh yeah.
of Famke Jensen.
Okay.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, absolutely. So one of the comments suggested or asked, what would you think of Angela Bassett playing an older Storm? Like, I think she would kill it.
Oh yeah. That'd be absolutely. I mean, since she's sunsetted on being the mother of T'Challa,
Yeah.
you know, he died, and she was like, I don't want to play this role anymore.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I do think they should. I mean, if we're doing X-Men from the beginning or new, we should cast somebody a little younger.
Right.
So,
I mean, there's plenty of actors and actresses. I've said this from the beginning. You know, let these old guys play sure, you can play an older Bruce Wayne, retired, not jumping out of jets. You can play. I think an older Superman would be cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I saw in the Infinity.
Nick Cage back, you know?
No, not at all. Cool. He's cool with Ghost Rider.
Yes. There you go. Perfect.
In the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the animated was it Max, right? The first one. They had all the Supermans and all the Wonder Womans and all the other kind of stuff. And they were talking about how, you know, so one Superman's talking to another Superman. Hey, yeah, Wonder Woman is here, blah, blah, blah. And he says, yeah, we're long-lived, but Wonder Woman is immortal. Okay. So first of all, we, Superman, are going to see everybody we love die, right? But Wonder Woman is going to see us die. Right? So anyway, I don't know why I brought that up, but I thought it was cool.
It's because you're a wealth of knowledge, Adrian.
Oh, is that what it is?
The knowledge is deep, dude.
Drink from my fountain.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Dropping knowledge bombs. That's what you're doing on this podcast. I don't even think we can't even call it a podcast. It's a show. Let's be honest.
You know what it is? It's fun.
It is.
That's what it is. There you
go.
It's all these things, but the underlying thing is fun.
Damn. Yo, like Son of Sekhmet said a few weeks ago, Adrian's on fire.
That's the way
another one, yeah. So, well, let's see if I'm on fire today. I got a little segment here for you called Agree to Disagree, Adrian. So for anyone who's new, and why I say that with a little emphasis this week, Adrian, our last episode was our most viewed episode ever on YouTube.
Nice.
So thank you all for checking us out there. So it actually would be a good time if you haven't done this already to stop, hit the subscribe button, turn that little bell thing on so you get notified when this podcast drops every Monday, usually around 5:30-ish or so. But hey, you guys interact with us more. We get bigger. Then I can afford to pay someone to do that. Then it will come out at the same time every week. You know? So help us help you, I guess.
There you go.
You also can check us out on Spotify now, so we're there. Nice. But Agree to Disagree. So if you're just joining us for the first time, Agree to Disagree is a segment where I throw anywhere from, 7 to 10 of my opinions at the moment at Adrian. Rapid fire. There's not a lot of discussion, and Adrian will let me know if he agrees or disagrees.
Okay.
Our opinions change sometimes. There's been times, if you were to go back on the show, there's been times where I'll say something on Agree to Disagree, Adrian, and by the time the show is over, one of us or maybe both of us are on the other side of it.
Right? We've even talked ourselves and each other into the opposite of what we literally just said.
Absolutely.
Moments before. So we're fluid. We're fluid.
And we've not had not a lot of movies released lately, but early on in our show, it felt like we were reviewing a movie every week.
Right.
There were times where my score would start here, your score would start here, and by the time we got through our deep dive, they were closer. Who knows, dude? Right. There's not a lot of rules here.
Hey.
So, that being said, are you ready for Agree to Disagree?
Ready. Let's do it.
All right. Number 1, episode 9 of X-Men 97 is the best episode so far.
Disagree.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew it.
Nope.
I'm not upset, though. Okay.
That's okay.
Number 2, Magneto would solo the Justice League.
I disagree.
Damn, disagree. Yeah. I even put the helmet on for you, Agent. You know,
that's okay.
That's okay. Number 3, David Cornsweat's Superman suit looks like Henry Cavill's had a baby with Homelander.
That gives me a completely different image. But
the suits.
Sure.
The suits.
Sure.
Okay. Bo DeMayo should be rehired and write more X-Men 97.
Absolutely.
Ryan Coogler should direct the first MCU X-Men movie.
Don't know who he is, but
Black Panther director.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Agree.
Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse is the worst X-Men villain portrayed on screen so far.
Dude, that should be put back there. What's that Shaq character? Hammer.
The one, oh God, what was it from last week? Steel.
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 Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah, should be up there with that.
Or down there.
Yeah, down there. There you go. So you agree?
Agree.
Professor Xavier should never wheel himself around with that ridiculous blanket on again.
What was it? Plaid this time?
What the
I mean, why does it have a blanket at all? I mean, is that a thing?
No. Dude, I've seen plenty of people in wheelchairs. Unless it's really, really cold outside, I don't know what's the deal with the blanket.
Now, he did have a chair without wheels. What's the face? The Shire princess?
Yeah.
Gave it to him.
Yep.
It was a levitating chair, and then I think the whole thing
The yellow
was
one.
like was covered up or something like
Okay.
that. So he didn't have
Yeah.
a blanket, but he still covered up his legs because
Right.
that's probably like some uncle down the hall kind of shit.
Maybe.
He feels some kind of way about people looking at his broke legs. I don't know.
But then he's got pants on, or maybe he lost his pants, so he just threw the blanket on. But I'm like, it was so distracting the whole time. But he normally had the yellow, like, hovercraft in all of X-Men.
Right.
But, of course, with the mansion being blown up, which we're going to get into in a minute. But I'm like, dude, the blanket, like, everyone else is out here and they're, I don't know. But.
Maybe he's pulling a judge, nothing underneath the
Oh,
robes
yeah.
kind of thing. So the blanket covering up, he maybe just got a belt on.
Damn.
I'm just saying.
Maybe Professor Xavier has an OnlyFans.
You're fired.
That's not a yeah. You're fired from the X-Men. Too soon. Got 2 more for you, Adrian.
Yep.
Weekend at Bernie's is better than The Flash.
Agree.
And last but not least, everybody watching right now should stop and subscribe to the Only Comics YouTube channel.
I agree, but they should have done that already.
Exactly. What the hell's wrong with them? Unbelievable. Well, there you have it. Another agree to disagree. But the real fun starts now. It's when you guys sound off online with your opinions. Some of them are right. Some of them are wrong. Some of you get very upset. And we love it all. It's okay, right? We can take it. We have thick skin. So, X-Men 97, Adrian. I think it's a good segue into that. Maybe we also, before we get into that, we give everybody a little preview of what's coming next week, okay? Fatal Attractions is a comic story, which I've read in the past. You've read before?
I've read recently.
Recently, you've read. We're gonna dig deep into this over the next week or so, and then next week on the show, we're gonna have a little fatal discussion.
Okay.
Fatal discussion. See that?
Yeah, I like that.
About Fatal Attractions. One of my, I think, I don't know, it's not one of my top favorite comic stories, but because of the ending and because of one moment in there, there's so much that I do love about it. Like some of the stuff with the acolytes and all that gets a little much. So there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, I got
here.
a couple comments about that,
but and it's one of these stories that follow or ties in a handful of different comics. Like X Factor, I think, is the first one. Then there's a couple X-Force issues. Then there's the X-Men issues. I like the X-Men issues better than the X-Force and X Factor. I don't know if you got that same feeling.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But it also pairs nicely with X-Men 97.
It does. So we're going to wait till next week because next week's the season finale of X-Men 97. And because I like to give gifts, Adrian, I said I think a good gift to our audience would be once X-Men 97 wraps up to dig into Fatal Attractions a little bit and kind of talk about some of the parallels.
Sounds good.
So X-Men 97, dude, I opened up with my Magneto helmet on.
Right.
And I said they did it. They did it. They did the scene that I've been waiting to see somewhere other than a page of a comic for years. Now I would have liked to see a little bit more, but I understand that that's a hell of a cliffhanger, and you got to end the episode right there. But I mean, all in all, or go ahead.
No, don't give away too much. I mean, we'll build up into it. So don't because I mean, you mentioned a couple of things that were epic. But let's kind of like leave it toward the end. Okay. The real epic one.
Because you got some downs though.
Yeah.
Before we talk about any of the ups or downs, if you had to score this episode, what would you give it?
7.5.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 9.5.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's like the most you've given anything.
I did say for me it was the best episode.
I mean that's the most you've given anything.
Oh yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Like any review ever.
Yep, dude. I'm telling you, I'm a sucker for this moment. I guess
I guess.
But well, let's start.
I ain't hating. I ain't mad.
No.
I ain't mad.
I mean, my scores are usually higher than yours.
But you know what? maybe you'll convince me by the end of the conversation.
Ooh,
Maybe I'll go up a little bit.
Maybe I'll drop down a little
or
bit.
maybe
You
you'll
never
drop
know.
down a little bit. Hey, we'll see.
Dude, it was perfect timing. I got my Magneto helmet in this
Right.
week. I saw this. I'm reading some of Fatal Attractions.
Right.
It was like I was like a kid in a candy store all over again.
I think your score is kind of you kind of caught up in the moment.
Yeah, maybe.
I need to talk you down a little
Okay,
bit.
I'm
We'll
maybe
see.
a little biased right now, but let's go through some of the downs for you. Let's start off on a down.
Okay.
That way we can end on an up.
All right. So the down for wait a minute. Are we talking about the reading or the movie itself?
No, we're talking about the show. We're gonna
Okay,
get
the
into
show.
the comic next week.
All right. So the show, the down of it was that I've been looking at comics for 40 something years,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the things that popped out, they were cool. It was like this movie was made out of highlights. They wanted to be impactful all the way through instead of just making a good show.
Okay.
Like a lot of stuff didn't make sense to me. Like, why is Jubilee and Sunspot, Roberto, in an alleyway, about to be mobbed when Sunspot could have literally in the show before flew Jubilee out of harm's way. They didn't have to run down an alley at all.
Okay.
Nonsensical.
Right.
Why is Storm gallivanting around with Forge when it wasn't necessary that she's like hitting the ground with the lightning to stop the mob from attacking Jubilee and Sunspot, who shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Got it.
Where was Storm when Magneto? First of all, why did Magneto drop asteroid
Astro out of nowhere
into Earth space?
Yeah.
That was just like overkill.
Dude,
right?
he pulled that shit up like your Uber's here. Like,
Exactly.
just drop this, big ass asteroid out of nowhere. Yeah,
Right.
that was that did when I saw him like, dude, Xavier didn't know that was coming.
Forget Xavier. Storm,
True.
who is like in touch with the Earth's atmosphere, everything.
Right.
She should have sensed that.
True.
But she's over there trying to, scare off some citizens, right?
Okay.
For an attack that shouldn't have even been happening. So
Right.
where was my thought was, okay, so where's Storm? She doesn't know that you got this giant asteroid. Besides the fact that there was no reason for Magneto to drop that down. He wasn't carrying anybody.
Right.
It was just show,
Yeah.
So it just, and then, Xavier with the blanket, why are they out
got his
in the
blanket,
woods
dude,
around
yeah.
the thing anyway? And then Rogue, she's all upset and she goes, it's just a lot of nonsensical things. It just seems like they wanted to have a lot of impactful bits that didn't make sense together for me.
Okay.
And then the finale was cool, but they could have spent more time on that.
Yeah.
That should have been the finale, not having a bunch of finales throughout the entire show.
Got it. Okay. You haven't talked me down yet.
Oh, okay.
So, but some of these things they did stand out. Like the asteroid thing was the big one. The alleyway stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I know the last time we saw them, they were being captured by the Prime Sentinels. Magneto sent the big old wave through the Earth, killed everyone. So who knows where they were when that happened?
Right.
They had the collars on. I don't know how they got them removed. So there's definitely a time gap.
Yep.
There were some things that I just thought were funny that weren't meant to be funny. Like the blanket was funny.
Right.
The fact that the mansion has been bombed, and they're just like waking up like they went to bed like nothing. Like
Right. Chuck wakes up and he's looking around and it's like,
like the wall's missing.
Right, the wall's missing. You got a big ass hole in the bottom
Yep.
in your floor. Like when you went to bed last night, I
Right.
mean, didn't you see all this stuff?
Then you got Nightcrawler. Rogue wakes up and Nightcrawler's just sitting in the chair like Bill Cosby. Like what is going on? You're just watching her sleep. Okay, Diddy.
Like how many times she gonna wake up from this attack? Right?
Yeah.
She woke up in the alley. She woke up on some steps. She woke up
Right.
in bed. But Nightcrawler's always there. Right? Who knows?
Well, what are you doing there while she's sleeping? Night creeper, maybe. I mean, God.
I
And
like that night
Yeah,
creeper.
dude, just I'm on it today.
Yep,
Maybe
yep.
Son of Sekhmet will say I'm on fire too. Maybe we
Maybe,
both are.
right?
We're
Hey.
like Human Torch and his brother. But yeah, so some of that stuff. Now, I absolutely loved seeing Magneto in the correct costume,
Absolutely.
the costume that he should be in.
Right.
That was cool.
Right.
Rogue turning heel, I guess. Rogue and Sunspot.
Right.
Leaving the X-Men, in which, we see a lot of that in the comics and the movies, some of these X-Men switching sides, especially with Magneto.
Right.
Because Magneto I mean, you could argue that he's not really the villain a lot of times.
Right.
He's kind of the anti-hero, but him and Xavier just kind of their ideologies clash a little bit.
Right.
You know, what'd you think about these two switching sides early on?
Like again, like you said, you know, you see it in the comics a lot where I don't understand where's the loyalty?
Yeah.
I don't understand how there's like this open revolving door with the X-Men. Yeah, you can try to kill me in 1 minute, but come on back because you're one of my X-Men.
Right.
You know, it's like, come on, dude. You either go or you don't. It's as simple as that. And when you go, it's like I tell my kids, once you leave, you don't come back. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, Xavier's got open door policy, dude.
I also think he's got like this thing with Magneto and Scott. He's got like this, what they call it, a throuple.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, like, get rid of the guy or don't.
Right.
You know, obviously Scott is you.
Yes.
You know, but you got this symbiotic relationship with these two dudes, and you won't move on either one of them. You won't let Scott grow up, and you won't take out Magneto. It's like, come on, man. That was another thing. It's like, just step up.
Yeah.
Dave, just step up.
What I liked about this, too, is it really, and I think this is a theme throughout the animated series, it shows Xavier's flaws. I think a lot of times in live action, Xavier has been portrayed as like a saint almost, you know, and he's not in the comics. Right. Xavier's a really complicated leader.
Sure.
You know, like most real leaders are, like,
sure.
There's a lot of gray area with him.
Yep.
And he's done some things that would make you believe that maybe he's not as loyal to his X-Men as he should be, right? Like, you know, leaving them for this, you know, whatever Magneto called her, this like princess in the stars or whatever.
Right.
But like he deserted them. They thought he was dead. And then he felt some type of way, and you know, because he saw the big vision of Gambit's death, and now he wants to come back and claim his X-Men again.
Right.
You know, so naturally, I guess it's hard for them to be loyal to him when they're probably feeling, you ain't even loyal to us.
Right.
You know, and Magneto did step in and kind of, so this one, I hear what you're saying, but this one kind of made sense to me, especially with Rogue and their history. I wasn't surprised by it, but again, it's something we've seen so much.
Sure.
And, you know, like Xavier just popping back out of nowhere, because this episode starts with a little argument between him and Scott, you know, and then I forget who was it. Maybe Jean was like y'all just both need to calm the fuck down, pretty much, like or maybe it was Beast. I love Beast portrayal in this show as well.
Yeah. Beast portrayal is appropriate.
Yeah.
He is a scientist.
Yep.
Just happened to look like he does.
Right.
But that doesn't stop him from doing his primary thing, which is science and exploration and all this other kind of stuff. So, yes, very good portrayal of Beast.
Yep.
Is Kramer coming back as Beast in any future?
I've not heard anything. I mean, he should. Like, we saw the cameo at the end of the Marvels. Right. Which I like the CGI version with him voicing it, because then he could be, you know, 93 years old and still play. He doesn't have to jump around and do somersaults like Michael Keaton.
Right.
So there's that. But yeah, I thought the premise of this was good, and I mean, we knew early on, like, we're getting right into war with this episode. Like this, there's not going to be a lot outside of some. There's going to be a lot of fighting. I like how they split up into two groups, which kind of mimic the comics of the 90s. Because if you remember, there was a gold team and a blue team in the comics.
Right.
I think one of them was on Uncanny X-Men. The other one was just the regular X-Men line. And they separate, because there were so many X-Men, they separated these, and they did that, and they referenced it here, which I thought was pretty cool. And so, I mean, basically, in a nutshell, the plan was half the team is going to go confront Magneto on Asteroid M,
right,
and the other half of the team is going to go fight Bastion.
Right. Which
we didn't see a lot of the Bastion fight. No. It was more Asteroid M on this.
Right.
Did you like that premise of the team splitting up?
Well, it makes sense. I mean, they actually had more teams than that. I mean, you had a Scott team, you had a Rogue, Storm team. You know, it's like whatever leaders bubbled up at the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was enough of them.
Right.
Right. But then you split out into X Factor, X Force. I mean, it was just a lot of X-Men. Then you got the New Mutants, you know, all that kind of stuff. So teams I'm accustomed to, and it made sense for them to split. But they were also going after two different villains,
right?
Which didn't make sense because, again, Magneto's thing is I want to get rid of now. He says it appears that he attacks humans, which he's not in this episode.
Right.
These episodes, he's attacking Bastion's Sentinels,
correct,
that look like human. But then Charles is like, well, you got they're trying to be talking about humans. They're trying to be whatever. Just leave him alone. But he's not attacking who Charles thinks he's attacking.
Correct.
He's trying to attack the Bastion, which they should be helping him do.
Sure.
And they're not.
Right.
Which is kind of pissed me off too.
Yeah. And it goes back to their ideologies clashing because Xavier wants to do everything to protect the humans.
Right.
And Magneto's kind of like, bro, if they're in the way, they're in the way.
Exactly.
And matter of fact, get in my way and see what happens. Like he's looking for a reason.
Right. But even with that, when he did the magnetic pulse, that only affected what? The Sentinels.
True.
Anything electronic, not people. He didn't, like I said, pull up dust, which has metallic particles, and just like slice through every human on the planet.
Right.
He sent out a magnetic pulse, threw him back, the planet back, probably a few decades or 100 years or whatever.
Sure.
But again, the attack was the Sentinels, not humans, which is why Charles is attacking Magneto.
Right. And I think Magneto's, thought process is more not that he wants to wipe out humans. He just wants to reign over humans. Like he wants to be in control. He believes mutants are superior.
I agree that he thinks that mutants are supposed to be superior.
Yeah.
But I think Magneto's thoughts are like the aliens that are around us every day. They don't care. Humans haven't bubbled up to the point where you're even something that I should be paying attention to.
Yeah.
I think he wants to not get rid of them, but I don't think he wants them as an annoyance.
Yeah.
And the annoyance to him is that they're always trying to kill mutants.
Right.
I think he just wants to just be able to move about and not have to worry about them.
Yeah.
As opposed to I'm superior to you, you should bow to me, kind of thing like that.
Well, in this is where it parallels Fatal Attractions a lot. Magneto's goal is to just live on Asteroid M away from the humans. And anyone who wants to come live with him, come on.
And that's another point. Why don't he just do that?
Right.
I mean, he can literally go and make his own planet, and anybody that wants to go with him just dismiss all the stuff. But of course, then that makes a shorter movie,
right?
Or a shorter comic.
But to your point, why is if Magneto's on Asteroid M, he's bouncing like I don't need y'all humans,
right?
Why is Xavier and his crew going up there to fuck with him?
Thruple.
Starting to look like I said last week Magneto was right.
And who did he take with him?
Rogue.
No, and
Sunspot.
Well, no. Who did Xavier take with him?
Oh, Blue Team. Yep.
Exactly.
Cyclops. Scott. Yep.
So thruple. So he had to have himself, Scott, and Magneto always in the same place.
Yeah. So I don't. I'm starting to think that the problem's Xavier.
Oh, it absolutely is Xavier. You know what he's got underneath that blanket is some Astroglide. So I'm just saying.
The other team, so the gold team, this is Storm, Jean, Beast, Forge. They're going after Bastion. They create a collar that is basically going to neutralize his powers, right? And we don't see a lot of it. We do see the scene that we talked about during the Hidden Gem with Morph, where Morph shows up as Sinister. And then Bastion realizes it's him like that, right? But a lot of this episode is focused on this battle between Magneto and the X-Men. There's a scene where it's hard to tell what Xavier is actually doing because we've not seen a lot of his power in this season because he's only been in like one episode. But he's focusing all of his power on Magneto. Magneto's in a lot of pain. I don't know if he's trying to like wipe his mind like he did in the comic, if he's trying to just, knock him out, if he's actually trying to kill him, who the hell knows? But he's got him kind of in this like psychic, I don't know, grip.
Right.
And then fucking Cyclops. Dude, like, regardless of how you feel, who's right, obviously Xavier's goal is to stop Magneto here.
Right.
You are a part of the X-Men. This is your leader. This is what you all went there to do. And then you're just gonna screw up the whole thing. You're pulling in Infinity War when they're trying to get the gauntlet off of Thanos. Peter Quill. The hell?
I'm pissed off because you heard my
girlfriend. You're pulling a damn Peter Quill Cyclops.
Right.
What the fuck, bro?
It's like Jean's like, oh, Scott, whatever. Because you're down fighting your own battle and stuff, right?
Yep.
So what is your son? He's trying to kill you.
Right.
wipe that dude out, right?
Yep.
But what you do is you interrupt a entirely different mission and throw Scott off, and then Scott stops Charles from doing what they went up there to do.
Yeah.
With some BS.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Ruins everything. So technically, we're going to save the last scene, but technically we could blame Cyclops for some of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Just saying, wouldn't have happened
Absolutely.
if you didn't, flash your little eyes at Xavier. There's a cool fight in this with Cable and Jean.
Right.
Cable's mind controlled by Sinister, and this is one of the reasons I absolutely love this season. This the new reboot is how cool the action looks.
Right.
The fights, the powers. I mean, I do that. Storm, I've always loved Storm, but why she's even more one of my favorites now is the way her shit looks in the tornadoes, all that stuff. But so that's why they did it, because it looks cool.
Right.
So it doesn't need to have any plausible reason. It just looks cool.
Right.
But I like the fight between Cable and Jean. How'd you feel about that?
I thought that was cool. But Sinister, I'm becoming even more and more impressed with him. Like when he threw the car at Jean, but then he snaked underneath it.
Yes.
It was like a double attack.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. But the whole Cable thing, it was almost like he wasn't needed in this episode, except for that part
To fight Jean.
Yeah. So and Jean, they kind of like nerfing her because she should have just took Cable out.
Right.
There's that.
But Cable's got a lot of abilities that we've not seen before. Like he's psychic.
Wasn't that blast a psychic thing?
Yes.
Because he said his mother was actually Jean Grey, one of the more powerful mutants, whatever, blah blah blah. Then he
said it doesn't skip a generation or whatever, the power.
So so that was new. So that was interesting, which means that he probably don't even need the guns and stuff.
Right.
If that's the case.
No, that's just being gratuitous,
Right.
dude. And we saw the scene, we touched on it last week with Cyclops giving him his, costume and him making a little joke about it, it's like black leather.
Right.
And we saw like a little, dude, it's like they cannot go an episode without Cyclops saying something cringe.
Come on.
Like with the whole, what are you going to tell me, to go easy on him or something, or be careful? And it's like, I forget what he says, something so stupid. It's just, I try to just delete it from my mind.
Right.
But I think I like their portrayal of Cable in this show so far.
Sure. I speaking of stupid stuff that Scott says, I think Charles, Magneto, and Scott should form a quartet. And they say, my X-Men, all at once, dude.
I am so... Adrian,
they said it like 30 times.
I am so tired of hearing my X-Men in this damn show. And I know before someone goes, it's an iconic thing from the comics. I know. I've read a lot of X-Men comics.
Yeah.
Does it? Hey, just because it's in the comics doesn't make it good.
Right. And just because they said it once, that doesn't mean they should say it
Correct.
every 30 seconds.
My perfect example I said last week, Avengers Assemble. It was said once in over 15 years of MCU movies.
Right.
In the comics, how many times have you seen that?
Right.
So he does say it, but we don't need it. If you took a shot, here's a game y'all can play. Rewatch X-Men 97 from start to finish. Take a shot of whatever you like to drink. Every time someone says my X-Men,
you would not finish.
By the end of the show, you're going to have alcohol poisoning.
Right.
You'll be dead. You'll be hanging out with Gambit. So, but yeah, if we can get no more of that. But so now we get the fight, right? So Cyclops knocks Professor Xavier out the way.
Yep.
Wolverine and Magneto have a little bit of a moment here. They're going back and forth. And this whole time, dude, I knew, at what point did you know that was coming?
I did know it was coming. Well, it's a reportrayal of the comics. So it's possible.
Right.
But for them to actually show it, that was awesome.
Yes.
That was awesome. But Magneto's also at this spot where he's like, dude, I'm just done.
Yes.
I'm just done with, Wolverine, I'm tired of playing with you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of all this stuff. And he just goes ham on him.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I like the build up to it because it's a little different than the comic because they make you think that Wolverine has the upper hand for a second. Mm-hmm. Because Magneto's distracted. He just got zapped with Cyclops' shit or whatever. And Professor Xavier just about killed him. Mm-hmm. So perfect time for Wolverine to kind of sneak up behind him, stabs him with the claws. Right. And then he makes some comment about, their whole feud. And I don't remember the exact words, but it's a callback to something that was said, in like one of the first episodes of X-Men animated series. But dude, that scene with the claws impaling Magneto's body, blood all over. That was pretty cool.
Right. But, and this is another one of the downs, right? So we've seen, like with Magneto and Rogue, Magneto wears this magnetic condom.
Yep.
Right, around his entire body, right? Which, and Rogue's power set is pretty powerful. When she touches you, she absorbs your memories and your powers, right? Now, Magneto is in battle formation on Asteroid M.
Yeah.
He's fighting blue team, whatever. His shielding should have been at the very least higher than just, condom level.
Right.
Now, what happens next with Wolverine obviously means that he can manipulate adamantium, but Wolverine is able to sneak up behind him and stab him when his shields should have been up all the time. Wolverine shouldn't have been able to touch him at all, is my point, which makes it nonsensical.
If he wasn't just about nearly killed by Professor Xavier. So I would say my counter would be he was a little under the weather at the moment, okay?
All right, he was severely distracted.
He was.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Which
I'll
Wolverine picked up on, because he is Wolverine.
Right.
We can't, just because of how it ends, we can't discredit who Wolverine is. So he saw the perfect opportunity.
Okay.
And he probably also, I bet Wolverine's watching only comics and he's like, dude, these guys say I don't do shit on this show.
Right.
Watch this, So he was actually doing that for us.
Right. Watch me get filleted.
Yeah. He didn't think it through,
Exactly.
Wolverine's intelligence has never been like his strong suit. He'll kick your ass.
He's rather feral.
Yes, he's feral. He's hard to kill, all that good stuff. Right. But he's never, he ain't going to beat, Tony Stark in a game of chess. Let's all calm the fuck down for a second.
There's that.
Yeah, but I think he saw the perfect opportunity.
All right. I'll buy that.
Okay. See, we're swaying you, dude.
Okay.
Maybe get like half a point for that one.
No, you don't get any more points. Okay, but, that's okay.
Because I think I knocked mine down to a 9, dude. I'm going to knock off the half a point.
All right, let's keep going. We get lower.
But perfect. So we'll go with that. Perfect opportunity. Wolverine seizes it, but he does not think that far ahead.
Right.
Because almost like the whole, when Thor went at Thanos for the first time, and he's like, dude, you should have went for the head.
Right.
Like, you come up, stab him right, through his side somewhere. Right. I'm sure there's some other critical organs you could, if you were really trying to kill him. Right. Maybe you were just trying to, take him out for a second. Who knows? Because there's this kind of love-hate relationship with Magneto. It's not like Wolverine fighting, I don't know, Sabretooth, someone who he's actually trying to kill. Right.
Yeah, but is Sabretooth and Wolverine actually trying to kill each other anyway?
I don't know.
Because Sabretooth could do it.
True.
He comes around once a year, slaps,
happy birthday, bitch.
Right? And then he moves on, whatever. But I was also going to bring up this point about, when you're fighting certain people, this is another example of Magneto's, where his alliances are. He's trying to protect mutants, not trying to kill everybody or everything, right?
Correct.
So at this point, the other thing that you realize, besides Magneto is tired of playing around with Wolverine, is that all this time he's been holding back.
Oh yeah. He
could have done what he's about to do at any point.
Yes.
Which means that there's no hate for him. It's just that now, you're a child now. I just need to beat your ass. And that's what happens.
Dude, I think Magneto's been holding back like the entire time.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, we saw what he did in his underwear to the entire Earth after being, in a coma for 4 days, pretty much. Like, he just woke up and did that shit. Imagine him with like a little bit of motivation or prep time.
Yep.
We're talking about Batman's prep time. Imagine Magneto with some prep time.
Exactly.
That was just like, dude, I woke up, I don't know where my clothes are. Hold on, let me fuck up the Earth real quick. Then I'll get dressed later,
Right.
But yeah, dude. But actually, before we get into the Wolverine scene, I did like when Magneto, after Cyclops broke up the whole, murder attempt, Magneto takes his own helmet and shoves it on Xavier. And dude, he's like, that's what happened. He was so focused on Xavier. He's like crushed Xavier's head. Wolverine sneaks up behind him. Boom. So yes, distracted by Charles Xavier.
Okay.
He's got the claws in there. They're talking shit back and forth. Basically, like, Wolverine's thinking it's over for Magneto, and then we get the moment, dude.
Right. But before you get to that,
yes,
I think it was symbolic. I think he did the helmet thing on Xavier as like symbolic. Like, you think I'm invulnerable. I'm more vulnerable without the helmet.
Yeah.
So here, you take
Exactly.
the helmet, and let me show you
Yeah.
how this works. And so he starts crushing Xavier's head, which is where all of his power comes from.
Right.
So I think it was a lot of symbolism for Magneto to do that specific thing to him, because he could have got one of those pieces of scrap metal, right, from off the wall.
Sure.
Which he was,
Did everybody else.
he did everybody else, right?
Yep.
And just wrapped around Xavier's head or just cut his head off. And that's another thing too, hold him back.
Yes.
Magneto could just slice his head off and just gone about his day. Matter of fact, that could have been as soon as they got around, because the ship that they traveled to Asteroid M's metal, right?
Right.
He senses all this stuff. He could have just destroyed the ship,
Right.
before it even docked.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Magneto's just a nice guy, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man.
Dude, the more we talk about Magneto, I think the more I move him up on my list of
Absolutely.
Like, dude, he's got to be like one of the top Marvel characters, period.
Absolutely.
We got Batman at DC and we got Magneto at Marvel,
But my thing about Magneto is that the more you talk about what he has portrayed, that dude has an extreme amount of tolerance.
Yes.
An extreme amount of tolerance.
Right.
So, I mean, he could have wiped out humans for, always attacking them, always killing them, the whole Genosha thing. I thought he was just going to, just kill everybody, right? But he didn't. But he's still focused on bashing, and then he's tolerating the X-Men, always attacking them, always blaming them for shit,
Yep.
So, he has a mega level of tolerance,
right,
for all the stuff that has gone on in his life. Wife getting killed, just mayhem throughout his entire life, dude.
right. Well, maybe that's why the name of these 3 episodes is Tolerance is Extinction. Magneto or Xavier, whoever tolerates more of the humans' bullshit, may be the reason of mutant extinction.
Exactly.
So the scene, Adrian.
The
claws. The claws are in Magneto. He gets them out of there. You see Wolverine. Actually, one more. We're really building this up. I don't know how we forgot this.
What's that?
Because the X Mansion was destroyed. The costumes that we were accustomed to for the entire season are gone.
Okay.
They go to that little base on Muir Island, and they throw on all their original Marvel costumes. Wolverine with the brown.
Yep.
Which you like, actually.
Yep,
I think I actually, this is how good I am. I remember on an Agree to Disagree many moons ago, I said the yellow was better, but I thought you said the brown.
You probably remember better than I do, but I do like the brown.
Yeah. So we got to see that. How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was cool. It was almost like, they also had like a bunch of tech. I mean, they should be based on Muir Island.
Sure.
And leave the school to school.
Yeah.
Because but I mean, how many Blackbirds they got, though?
Dude, that's all Beast does in his spare time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like Beast's going to be pissed off because because they keep destroying the Blackbirds and stuff.
Like, dude, he's got plenty of them. He's got more Blackbirds than Batman has Batmobiles.
Exactly.
Dude. Which makes sense because there's a lot of them. I don't know how Batman's building all this shit in his spare time as a Batman fan, but whatever. It's all good.
Right.
He's just a busy guy,
I guess.
He really utilizes his time.
That's it.
But, yeah, we saw the OG Cyclops with the, the head condom suit and then Ms. Marvel suit on Jean Grey.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool throwback for the one episode.
I didn't like the Ms. Marvel thing because when they did that, that's like when she first came out. And they made her basically a secretary.
Right.
They nerfed her powers so much that she was basically, she couldn't lift her own body weight with telekinesis.
She could maybe get us coffee. A box. Maybe she could bring a box of Joe in.
If Jean Grey showed up in that costume, I would be disappointed.
Yeah.
For her to get us coffee.
Right.
I would be like, no, thank you. No,
God
thank
damn.
You. I would refuse the services.
Oh, shit. Damn. Now, of the bunch, it's definitely not my favorite costume, but I thought it was cool to see them in that, one last time. Obviously, it's not going to last. I mean, they're going to get new costumes, new man. They rebuild the mansion every, 3 weeks.
Right. Something's going to blow up, and it's going to blow off the costumes, and then they'll have to go to another island or a place.
You think, I guess they've never heard that little nursery rhyme. The big bad wolf, he blows down like the straw house, all these other, and then the brick one he can't blow down, right? Like, maybe Xavier should read that story and then build his mansion maybe a little bit stronger next time. I don't know. They keep picking up the same bricks, building the same mansion, and then it gets destroyed again.
Now, think of all the teams that's part of X-Men. Think of all the factions, X-Force, X-Men, X-Factor, all this other kind of stuff, right? Every time the mansion gets blown up, nobody dies in it.
No.
Typically.
Right.
All these kids, all these people, and nobody dies. But I think Xavier needs, or Scott maybe, and Magneto should go to Reed Richards. because Reed Richards, his suits, he made the suits to withstand the changes.
Yeah.
So Human Torch, when he lights on fire, the suit withstands it. When Mr. Fantastic stretches, the suit stretches with him. When Susan turns invisible, his suit is made out of like nanites or something.
Yeah.
Right? The only problem is that, and Johnny found out, Reed built trackers into the suits,
Of course,
which also monitors like body, heartbeat, sweat, all this other kind of stuff. So he has a lot of data.
Yeah.
But I think one of those, Xavier or Scott, needs to go to Reed and say, hey, build us some suits that don't fucking blow up every 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Do you think that Susan Richards wears that suit when she goes to see Namor, or no? The one that tracks her heart rate. I don't think she should.
I don't think. She
I
does
think it may
all.
tip, Reed off a little bit,
Right,
on
right.
what's actually happening.
Sue Atlantis.
Yeah. They're not just taking swimming lessons there,
Right,
dude.
right.
Like, why do you have to go to Atlantis to do swimming lessons every fucking Tuesday, Sue? You been hanging out with?
And still can't swim.
You been hanging out with Giselle?
Yeah, right.
All right, the scene,
the
Adrian.
scene.
I'm done. I'm done with all the scene.
Okay.
We see Wolverine in the brown suit.
Right.
We see just him in the shot.
Hey, did you get the Cable reference with Scott? Did you do that one?
What?
Did you want to bring that up?
I don't want to bring up anything Cyclops said. Dude, but we see his body starting to move, and then all of a sudden it ends with that iconic scene. I think they did a great job of portraying that in animation. It was a little quick, but I understand why. I think we'll probably see more of it at the beginning of the next episode.
Sure.
But dude, talk about a perfect cliffhanger and an iconic scene that, this comic was from what, 95, 6 maybe, something like that, Fatal Attractions. So you're talking almost 30 years in the making, and then we get to see that thing on screen, dude. That was a thing of beauty. I loved it. And it left like, I need to see this season finale.
Absolutely.
How'd you feel when you saw this?
I wasn't as enamored.
Right.
But because it just makes sense to me. I mean, if I was Magneto, I just would have exploded him. I wouldn't have. I thought he was gentle with Wolverine.
Yeah.
However, I did not expect, even in the comics, I did not expect him to just leave the metal protruding out of his body. I thought he literally separated the adamantium from his skeleton system and like put it on a coffee table outside of his body.
Right.
Which would have allowed, of course, Wolverine's healing factor to heal himself from that, pretty much quickly. But now he's got all this indestructible metal
just chilling,
protruding from every part of his body, right?
Yep.
And his healing factor goes into overdrive because it's trying to heal around something that it can't compensate for. So that was probably excruciating for him, but it was fitting. Like, Magneto knew that if I take this metal out of his body, he's just going to heal, and then he's a different kind of a threat, even with the bones and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But he leaves the metal protruding out of his body. That was epic. That was awesome.
Yes. Yeah, perfect cliffhanger, and it does, like, I don't know a show recently that has set up a season finale better than that, because in the comics and the story, that's one of the last things that happens. So I have no idea where they're going next week.
Right.
Which is great.
Absolutely.
I know we do predict a lot of things here on Only. I mean, we did predict this. So he who is right has returned.
Okay.
But as much as we brag about when we predict the endings, I much prefer something that we don't predict and it catches us off guard and it's a twist. And I honestly have no prediction for next week. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen.
Right. I don't even want to waste a brain cells thinking about it. I just want to be excited about it.
Right.
I just hope that I'm sure with this writer, the OnlyFans boy.
Yes.
I'm sure the next episode is going to be as epic as the cliffhanger that he presented us with in this episode. So that's all I want. I just want the excitement.
Right. And dude, listen, if y'all don't bring back Bo DeMeo, you got some big shoes to fill.
Oh, absolutely.
Because as a writer, dude, he's hitting nothing but grand slams in this season. I mean, we can, 7 here, 8, 9, whatever you want to go score-wise. But as a whole, dude, this thing's been damn near 10 out of 10.
Right,
It's
right.
one of the best things Marvel has done in a long time.
Yep. I would give this whole season like 8.5 at
Yeah.
this point. Not this particular show, but
Right.
the season. Because I still haven't even watched the old X-Men animated thing because I can't get over the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But this artwork is very cool, and the storyline is phenomenal.
Right.
I predict that these episodes will spill over into live action as to storylines.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we've been talking about all this time. Just give us a good story. Keep it grounded. Give us a good story. And I think the storyline from this animated series will spill over, just like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse spilled over into live action. I think this will spill over into the writing of live action movies.
The one thing that I wish would have happened. Okay.
What's that?
So Magneto's pulling out the adamantium, right?
Yeah.
Could he also remove the voice actor? Like, is that in his power set, dude? Can he remove the voice actor, replace him? But that being said, I do think that in this episode was probably the most consistent Cal Dodd has been at being Wolverine in this series. I didn't feel like he felt like Wolverine throughout this episode. How'd you feel?
I thought it was cool, but Magneto, right? He does not have the power like She-Hulk and Deadpool. That fourth page, whatever
Fourth
that
wall break.
Fourth wall break. So I'm assuming he has to leave the character actor alone.
So he can't do that.
You know what I'm saying? So we just got to deal with it. Well, maybe by him pulling his adamantium partially out, right? It affects his the actor off screen's vocal cords, right? Maybe shove some of that adamantium through his vocal cords, and it's going to be corrected once all the stuff gets fixed.
Maybe he just needs a box of Joe with the cream.
Maybe
light and sweet. There you go.
There you go. I don't know about the light and sweet, but
so a lot of people asked online what happened to Wolverine after this in the comics, and this was a huge moment because it changed the character of Wolverine for a while. I think there was like a 3 or 4 year period where he had the bone claws. This is where we first learned, is in the last issue of Fatal Attractions, the Wolverine issue. We see them all taped up, and we see the bone claws for the first time. Dude, I was reading that the other day, and it brought me back to the first time seeing that comic. The same thing in the grocery store, because I had read the previous one where the adamantium gets ripped off. Dude, I couldn't wait to go back, and I think they came out once a month back then. Right. So following month, I go back. They got the Wolverine issue. I'm hyped, dude, and that's when I find out that he's got because at that time we didn't know he had bone claws.
I had been reading X-Men like many years before that, and it's like because even in Marvel Universe is like a dictionary of all the characters and their powers and all that kind of stuff, right? They don't show him as having bone claws. Right. They just have him as these blades embedded in his wrist, and the muscles shoot him out. Yep. They cut through his skin every time, and then his skin heals over every time. So never saw the bone claws. No. I think it's almost like they made that popular in that in the live action with Sabretooth. Yes. When they first brought Sabretooth and Wolverine out together and stuff. Yep. So
but yeah, the first time we seen them, it was in that Wolverine comic, and I remember like just changing my whole it's a whole new Wolverine. Right. And then we also learned in the comics that the adamantium was slowing down his actual mutation. His mutation was to turn into like a Wolverine. Right. Like he would, and so during these few years where he didn't have the adamantium, he became more feral. More hair. If you remember, like his hair was all over his face, all over his body. He was more hunched over. He got bigger, and he started like becoming more of an animal versus like he's not human, but less human like, more animal like. And then eventually, I think it was Apocalypse that gave him the adamantium back, and it kind of reversed some of it. So we saw a big change for Wolverine in the comics.
Right. I mean, he was hurt. Yeah. He was hurt. Dude, I'd be mad too.
Hell yeah. And then the other part of this, what the aftermath, I guess, was in the comics, Xavier wipes Magneto's mind. And that eventually leads to the creation of Onslaught. Onslaught it's a sentient psychic entity, and it was created from Xavier's consciousness and Magneto. So when he wiped his mind, I guess him wiping it pulled in that consciousness into his own mind, Xavier, and ended up. You're saying no.
No, I'm just thinking throuple.
Oh, okay.
They had to have some kind of child, some kind of way.
So you think Onslaught's a child?
A child meaning the product of two or more people.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they could have thrown Scott in there some kind of way, it would have been, on Cyclops, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
But anyway, eventually it remained dormant for some time, infiltrated Xavier's mind, and eventually, I forget exactly how it happened. Something happened with the astral plane. It pulled in another version of Xavier, and then it made this Onslaught character, which is if you ever look at it's literally a combination of Magneto, Xavier. He's probably Apocalypse size, and he's a badass motherfucker. So we could be getting that next season. Who knows?
Sure.
Which I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But either way, dude, this changes this show. It changes what's going to happen in the next season. Like, that's one of the things I've really liked about 97 versus the animated series is we've seen a lot of impactful things happen that aren't just like, they're not reversed. Like Gambit died, or they pulled him out of the opening fucking credit scene and replaced him. Like that's like, you're gone.
Right.
Xavier was gone for the whole first part of this season. Magneto was the good guy. Now that's out the window. Now Wolverine lost the adamantium. Like we're seeing some shit that's going to carry over, which I think is cool.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out why did Xavier show up with that mantis helmet on.
Dude,
no, it's like what was? I mean, come on.
You auditioning for Ant-Man or something?
Right.
Well, there you have it. That is but actually before we wrap up, do you want to revisit your score? Would you say 7.5 for this?
7.5.
You sticking with 7.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna stick with 7.5. It was too much. The nonsensical stuff outweighed the truly good stuff.
So a little too much tomfoolery for you.
Exactly.
I'm gonna knock it down to a 9. Okay? I'll knock off half a point. Now, Adrian, we have everyone's favorite segment. We respond.
Let's do it.
So, got a handful of stuff this week. We'll start off with my man JD. JD on TikTok says most of DC's animated stuff is really good, but like y'all said, it's not promoted at all. I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, their animated movies up until. This isn't a movie, it's a show. But up until lately, DC was kicking Marvel's ass from the animation standpoint. Right.
Yeah, but if you look at Crisis, the artwork is different.
Yeah.
It's more like that Dick Tracy kind of stuff, which I don't like.
Okay.
So maybe they slipping backwards. I don't know.
Maybe. And actually, I think it was Nolan Smith here on TikTok who agreed with you and said that the artwork is like, he said he liked the movies, but the artwork's not that good.
Yeah.
We got, what else we got here, dude? We got my man Mikhail. They should definitely recast voice actor for Wolverine. So he knows what he's talking about. He's in tune. Darren Baff says, and they did. This was based off of our predicting the ending. Mm-hmm. Christopher says, as far as Giancarlo Esposito, I say he's Kang. Do you think that Giancarlo could be a new version of Kang?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could pull it off, dude. Caleb Silly Putty. So that's the name. We have people that their name's just username.
Right. Hey.
I don't know what the hell this shit means, but Caleb maybe he really loves Silly Putty, you know?
Maybe.
I guess. I don't like Silly Putty.
Hey, you got a name like Ball Sweat. I mean, your real name could be Silly Putty.
Oh, yeah, this might be his real name.
I'm just saying.
But anyways, Caleb Silly Putty says, thumbs up. You guys are great. Really enjoy the show. I agree with that. Yeah. Question, after Secret Wars, do you think X-Men will have the spotlight in the MCU? If so, could we see Avengers versus X-Men adapted into a movie? Well, damn it, Caleb, I fucking hope so.
I think, yes, to answer the question. Yes, but I think it should be sometime in the future, at least a decade, because X-Men needs to have their revamped run.
Oh, the X-Men versus Avengers should be.
Correct.
Yes,
correct.
That should be their end game.
Right.
Yeah.
But let the X-Men in the MCU have his place first, which is going to take a decade or so.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a couple more here. Technology just says Onslaught. So he's picking up what they're putting down. Onslaught. You might be right, Technology. Justin S. says, these dudes are kings of bad takes. I don't agree with that. Matter of fact, Justin, that's the worst take I've seen on TikTok all week, actually. Preston Band says 97 has been fire, and that final scene was off the chain. I think we agree with that.
Yeah.
Another guy, he's got a long Wef's 18 Love Art, comma Marvel. I mean, I almost would prefer you if your name was just username, to be honest. But the most memorable panel in the X-Men comics for me in the 90s. I agree with that. I don't know if there's a panel that's more memorable than that. I mean, you're a big 90s X-Men fan. Is there just another scene that sticks out to you?
Actually, I'm not a 90. So what are we talking about? The show or the
no,
comics?
the comics.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's
it was transformative for me. Because you got to understand, so comic books is back then for me was probably like video games are to kids today. Except I also went outside, you know, and played in the dirt and stuff and rode bikes and did other physical activities.
Yeah.
But it was iconic. Specifically, like I said, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, X-Men, Avengers. So yeah, the 90s were that time for me.
Gotcha. Stop Momin 4582 says aged like wine about our prediction. That prediction did age like fine wine, Adrian. We who are right. I mean, if Groot can be we are Groot, we are we who are right. Sure. I'm gonna go with that. Okay. Sure. Another person said J-Lo. Oh, J-Lo comment. What's up, J-Lo? She says, I don't think it's that J-Lo. Maybe probably not. Could be. I mean, Ben Affleck's in movies, so right. And we give him a lot of props on this show. So anyway,
wait a minute, have we done a wedding review lately?
No.
If we did a wedding review, it would definitely be her.
Yeah, definitely. Just saw episode 9. You guys called it. Another guy, Eddie, says you guys are spot on. I agree with all that. Bootsy says, do you know what happens to a toad struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everyone else. He says, I know it wasn't her fault, but that was the second dumbest line after Martha, the old Storm. We talked about Halle Berry's Storm last week.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember that stupid-ass line?
Yeah. Again, separation. I'm trying to separate church and state here.
Okay,
right?
okay.
That's writing versus the acting.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It was written into her lines for her to say that.
Yes.
Which is stupid.
Right, I agree. We can't give her the fault
But then again, she was the wrong person to be saying any line.
Absolutely, yeah. She shouldn't say that line or any other line.
Exactly.
But he says it's up there with Martha. He says second dumbest. I don't know if it's second dumbest, but it's definitely on the list.
Right.
It's up there, dude. Yeah. Let's see. Angela Bassett as an older Storm. This is Danny Gilroy. Or Leticia Wright as a younger Storm. Again, I like Angela Bassett. I did not like the idea of Leticia Wright playing anyone in the MCU.
Who's Leticia Wright?
Black Panther's sister, Shuri.
No,
it's too small,
too
short. I don't know, something about her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexander Roca says Walter White for Xavier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, definitely older.
Yeah, he's older. He's bald. I could see him in a wheelchair.
Wasn't there, right, with a blanket?
Yeah, just no blanket.
Wasn't there rumors, or wasn't he up for the casting during whatever that show was to be Xavier?
I don't remember.
I could have. Maybe it was just wishful thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe you're trying to speak it into existence.
Right.
But yeah, I think he could pull it off.
Sure.
You know. We got like 2 more. Hades on YouTube says X-Men 97, one of the best Marvel projects. He watched the animated series as a kid every morning, and his favorites are Wolverine, Magneto, Nightcrawler. It's a good trio.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
Michael Navarro. We'll end with this one. Great episode, guys. No, I have one more after this. Sorry. Great episode, guys. I agree. Weekend at Bernie's is a better movie than The Eternals, so he knows what he's talking about. And then the last one, last but not least, where is this? Someone says Weekend at Bernie's is the U.S. president. Don't knock Weekend at Bernie's like that, dude. Come on. The hell's wrong with you? Last one, Bo Baxter Rosser. See, that's a name right there, dude. That's a strong name right
Sounds
there.
like a wrestling name,
It does, right? Like coming to the stage, weighing 250 pounds.
That's it.
Bo Baxter Rosser says, gonna go subscribe just to see the content. Well, you should, Bo Baxter Rosser. Right. And you know what, Bo? Take the rest of these motherfuckers in the comments with you and have them subscribe too, right?
That's it.
That's it. So there you go. Another We Respond. Another great show, Adrian.
Absolutely.
This, as you said earlier, this is, I don't know if it's a show, if it's a podcast, it's just fun.
That's it.
And we come here to have fun. So don't take us too, it's almost like the roast. Don't
Sure.
take us too serious.
Right.
So
right.
if we smack you around in the comments, we love you. Well, we love you because you're interacting with us. And sometimes you say some stupid stuff, and that's okay.
It happens.
It does happen. Not everyone has the same mutant abilities as us, Adrian.
That's it.
So another great week, another great hidden gem. Preview of next week, we're going to talk about the season finale of X-Men.
Okay.
Tolerance is Extinction, Volume 3 or Number 3. They're going to wrap all this up. Do you hope it's a longer episode?
It would make sense
Yeah.
that it would be, or at the very least have less filler.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Like we don't need to see Rogue and Forge on a rooftop, and showing up in places that they don't need to be.
Yeah.
They could leave the asteroid M outside of Earth's
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere. So if they don't make it longer, but have fewer fillers, I think that would be as exciting.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think I kind of like the 30 minute or so episode.
Sure.
But they've been consistent, unlike shows like Secret Invasion where one show's 30 minutes, the next show's 15.
Right.
So we got that next week. We're gonna dig a little deeper into Fatal Attractions next week. And then who knows what else? Who will be on Higher and Lower now that we're doing that segment? Maybe we'll pick Ant-Man. Who knows?
Or not.
Or not.
Hey, do you think they'll ever do post-credit hidden gems inside of animated
Dude, I
shows?
check every week, dude.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, I check. I think the last episode would be a good one to do that in.
Yeah.
So it remains to be seen, as they say. We'll find out next Wednesday.
That is it.
You all hit subscribe, hit like, share this. Matter of fact, for Mother's Day, the best thing you could do is share this podcast with your mom.
That's right.
I think everyone's mom would love this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyways, Adrian, thanks for coming through.
Absolutely, man.
Guys, thanks for joining us. And you know where to find us. We'll see you next week on Only Comics.